Gosh, how is it June already? Didn't I just record one of these already? All right, here we go. Hey everybody, it's Ian the Off Kilter Crafter. I hope you're having a great day today. It is time for that monthly recap. It doesn't seem like we should be here, but here we are. June, how did we get here? Lots has been going on in May though, so let's talk about all the different things that I worked on in my crafty journey back in May. Now before I get into what happened in May, I forgot to talk about in April that I finished my line work challenge that I did with Tiffany, Becca, Teresa, and myself. I finished up that quilt on a live stream, and I'll put a link to not only the video that I did here on my channel, but also the original video over on Tiffany's channel, where we're calling ourselves the Seasonal 4, basically. And I linked to that video, and you can check out the challenge that we did with Tula Pink's line work. That quilt came out really well, and I can't wait to get it over to my quilter to see what she uses to quilt it. But it's going to look really, really cool no matter what. So I forgot to talk about that at the end of April, so I'm throwing it in real quick here at the end of May. So the month of May has been super busy for me, and I haven't had a lot of opportunities to sew or work on other projects that I want to work on. So I didn't accomplish as much as I had hoped to, but I'm kind of okay with that because at the beginning of May, I took a trip to Disneyland with one of my friends. We took a trip out to California and had an amazing time. We spent about 3.5 days out in Orange County and had an absolute blast. This trip was inspired by a friend of mine who is a cast member, and thank you very much. You know who you are. Thank you for inspiring this trip. It was an absolute blast. This was my friend Tisha's first time making it out to Disneyland. She's been to Disney World several times, but this was the first opportunity that we had to head out to California, or her first time. This was my second trip out to Disneyland, but the first time I only had one day to do everything that I wanted to. And honestly, I got a lot accomplished. That was back in 2017, and I got a lot accomplished, and I got most of everything that I wanted to do done. This time it was a little bit easier to fit more things in and do what we wanted to do. In fact, we got the opportunity to do several of the things that we wanted to do more than once, which was great, absolutely great. It was such a fun experience. It was also fun to see Disneyland through my friend's eyes, who had never been there before, and she kind of relied on me to be the tour guide, which may or may not have been the best of ideas, but we had a blast no matter what. And honestly, the true reason for the trip was I really wanted to go see the Magic Happens parade. It launched pre-COVID, just a few months before the park shut down, and I was really excited to see it, and then of course COVID happened and didn't get the chance. But it came back, and I was on board to go see it, and so that was kind of the whole reason for the trip, really, was to see the Magic Happens parade, which is absolutely amazing. I loved it. It was such a fun parade, and if you get the chance, take the time to go see it. Even if you're not a fan of parades, I'm not the biggest fan of parades, but honestly, there's something different about Disney parades. They're just magical. That's the only way I can describe it. So if you head out to Disneyland, make sure to take the time to watch the parade. It was a blast. Everything else was a blast too, and I just loved spending time out in Anaheim, and the weather was wonderful while we were there. It did get kind of warm during the day, but then it would cool off towards the evening time, where I would need a hoodie, and I wore shorts, but at least the hoodie kept me warm. It was just a really fun time, and I can't wait to go back to Disneyland. It's gonna happen. So make sure to stick around towards the end of the video. I have put together a short little slideshow of some of my favorite shots from the parks and videos as well. I included a couple of videos in there as well, so make sure to stick around to the end of the video and see all the photos that I took. One of the projects that I did finish in May was the Legit Kit Color Vortex, which is their block of the month. It is, I love it. I love how it came together, and I'm super excited to get this quilted. I will be talking with my quilter very soon on what we want to do with it and how we want to quilt it. I have some ideas, but I also want to hear what she has to say, because she's never steered me wrong. So I'm excited to see what it ends up looking like when it's all quilted, and I'm definitely going to be putting it into shows, getting it into the show circuit, because I feel like it makes such an incredible impression, and cross your fingers that it might bring home some ribbons. But we'll see. We'll see. I'm not going to get my hopes up, but you know, cross your fingers anyways. So that one's done and finished, at least the top, and now it needs to get over to my quilter, and I can't wait to see what it looks like when it's all said and done. Let me know down in the comments below if you have started working on your color vortex, and if you are taking part in the color vortex. And are you using your own fabrics, or did you get the kits? Because you can, when it was available, because it's no longer available anymore, but when they had it available, you could purchase just the templates and everything, and you could get the pattern for it, bringing your own fabrics. And I'm really super interested to see how people end up using their own fabrics to make it. So I'm watching social media, waiting for those to pop up. Speaking of block of the month, we are getting ready to start yet another puzzle mystery quilt. This one is themed to carnival, so all the colorways are named after carnival type things. So, you know, like lemonade and ring toss and log flume, all those different types of things for a carnival. I'm super excited because I will be working on petting zoo, and I'll be doing a large quilt, just like the quilt that you see behind me. I'll be working on a large quilt, and it is Tula Pink's fabrics, which is awesome. Can't wait to see how they all come together. And if you have not yet signed up for it, take the time to go sign up. And you can also use my code IANCARNIVAL. I'll put it down here on the screen. Use IANCARNIVAL and let Cotton Cuts know that I sent you in their direction. And if you already purchased your kit, you can also send them an email saying like, hey, I forgot, Ian sent me over to y'all, and that will give me credit. Now, something kind of funny happened to me this month. I entered my mini quilt, which is a 4-letter word made from bananas and goes along with the Gwen Stefani song. I think you know which one I'm talking about. I can't say it here because I don't want to get demonetized. But if you don't know what I'm talking about, head over to my Instagram and check out the quilt. It is on my Instagram account, and trust me, you won't be able to miss it. Anyways, I entered it into a mini quilt contest from the Greater Wisconsin Quilt Show. I had to check their email. I entered it into a contest that they were doing. They had a mini quilt kind of contest that they were going to be running on their social media, and I was like, let's just see what happens. So I sent it over to them, and unfortunately, I did get a rejection letter, but it's honestly one of the best rejection letters I've ever gotten. I'm going to read it to y'all because I want to make sure I'm getting this right, but it was hysterical. Hi, Ian. Thank you for your whimsical entry into the Modern Mini Quilt Challenge 2023. I'm sorry to tell you the jury cannot accept your entry for public display in the challenge. For the Great Wisconsin Quilt Show contest, we cannot accept quilts with profanity in them. Fair. Though, as someone who knows the song, I wanted to let you know that it did make me giggle, and I thought the use of fabric was clever. Plus, I've had that song stuck in my head all week, which isn't a bad thing. We hope you'll consider entering another piece into the Modern Mini Challenge in the future. Hilarious. I had to say, like, when I read that email, yeah, it sucks that it wasn't able to be accepted, but honestly, that is like one of the best rejection emails I've ever gotten. Absolutely hysterical. And I had a little back and forth with that person, and there were some other funny things along the way that we talked about, but totally don't blame them, not upset at all. I just thought it was pretty funny, and I wanted to share. I also have been working on doing some more pieces for the Tula Pink scrap quilt that I'm working on. I will make sure to link to those videos down in the description of the video here. It's my Sunday lives where I just go through and just was piecing things together. They're coming along really well, and I like how they're turning out. But I've just been slowly working on those. And I've slowly been working on the Margot the Boxer from Legit Kits as well. I forgot to mention that while I was talking about Legit Kits. I've worked on a few pages, but it's been slow going on that project. I just haven't had a lot of time to focus on it. So I've been really working hard on getting all of those slowly put together. So yeah, that's pretty much the wrap up for May. June looks just as busy, maybe even more so. I'm going to be working on Margot the Boxer. I'm going to work on Village Green like I worked on last month. And then July will start Carnival. It just kind of keeps going, it feels like. And then of course, in the middle of the month, I'm going to be taking the time and visiting Becca. So I'm sure there's going to be more crafty goodness on both my channel and her channel, as who knows what's going to happen. Hopefully I don't fall out of my chair and I don't fall down the stairs this time. We'll see. Who knows? But it's going to be a lot of fun, and I can't wait to see her and spend some quality time in her craft room. And yeah, I'm really looking forward to that trip a lot. So that's a recap. Make sure to stick around because we're going to start the slideshow for Disneyland, and I can't wait to tell you all about what I accomplished at the end of this month. See you next time. Bye.